Natalie Esquire is not new to putting down the efforts of Caitlin Clark and what she has accomplished in the previous
players. Esquire's biases started to tarnish her reputation as a fair and objective journalist. While it's completely normal for sports journalists to have their preferences and favorite teams, it's their responsibility to maintain professionalism and provide unbiased analysis. Esquire, however, let her personal biases not only color her coverage but also fuel unwarranted attacks on players like Caitlin Clark. The tipping point came when Esquire began a relentless campaign against Clark.
Caitlin tried to flop. She tried to flop on what happened. Like, that little shoulder bump, it was not that serious. Okay, Caitlin, I need you to be all the way serious and for real, okay? You fell down. The first thing you did is, whoo!
Instead of appreciating Clark's undeniable talent and record-breaking rookie season, Esquire began labeling her as a stat patter and accusing her of flopping to get calls from referees. This wasn't just criticism, it was personal and unfounded, and it crossed a line that many fans and other reporters quickly noticed. To attack a rookie star like Clark, especially when she was proving herself to be an exceptional talent in every game, was not only misguided but also damaging to Esquire's credibility. Now, let's be clear, Clark is known for her fearlessness on the court. She plays through physicality, doesn't shy away from contact, and proves herself every night with her skill and toughness. The accusations against her from Esquire just didn't add up. Fans and analysts who have seen Clark play know that her resilience, composure, and determination make her one of the most promising stars in the WNBA, if not the entire sports world. Esquire's attempt to paint her as something less was laughable at best and harmful at worst. But Esquire's bias didn't stop there. Her favoritism toward the Las Vegas Aces, particularly Chelsea Gray, became another issue. While it's natural to have a favorite team,
Esquire says, Chelsea Gray is the best point guard in the WNBA. That hasn't changed because she has a down year returning from injury. The disrespect on her name was ridiculous.
Esquire's reporting took it to an extreme. She refused to acknowledge when Gray had down games or wasn't performing at her usual elite level. Instead, she brushed off any criticism of Gray, claiming that she was still the best point guard in the league, even when stats clearly didn't back up that assertion. This was no longer about presenting facts, it was about holding on to a narrative, no matter how inaccurate it became. In sports journalism, credibility is everything. A reporter
Clark? Statistically, nope. Is she a reporter that is standing for her favorite players?
And provide analysis based on performance, not on personal biases. Esquire's coverage, however, became more about her personal preferences than the integrity of the sport. That's where she made her biggest mistake. By letting her biases dictate her reporting, she lost the very essence of what it means to be a responsible journalist. But things took a major turn when Caitlin Clark decided to fight back. Fed up with the misinformation, the unfair criticism, and the blatant targeting, Clark filed a lawsuit against Esquire. This wasn't just about defending her own reputation, it was about standing up for truth, fairness, and accountability in sports media. By taking legal action, Clark exposed not just the lies and bias against her but also the deeper issues within sports journalism. The case is about more than just one reporter, it's a fight against the toxic culture of favoritism, bias, and unethical practices in sports media. As the lawsuit progresses, it's clear that this controversy goes far.
For me, if Rookie of the Year was picked today, I give it to A.
About restoring integrity to sports journalism, holding reporters accountable for their actions, and ensuring that players like Caitlin Clark are judged fairly based on their performance, not on the whims of biased reporters. In the end, this entire situation has forced a much-needed conversation about journalistic responsibility, bias, and the role of media in shaping public perception of athletes. Caitlin Clark's rise is a testament to her skill, work ethic, and ability to rise above negativity. Now, thanks to the lawsuit, it's clear that she's not just fighting for herself, she's fighting for the future of sports journalism and the athletes who deserve to be represented fairly. Stay tuned as this story continues to unfold. It's a powerful reminder that truth and fairness in sports media should always come first. Not just a misstep, it's a complete distortion of reality. Caitlin Clark has earned her place at the top through sheer talent, hard work, and dedication. Her ability to captivate fans with her electrifying gameplay has been the driving force behind her popularity. Yet, instead of recognizing her as one of the league's brightest stars, Esquire tried to diminish Clark's achievements by pushing narratives that had no basis in reality. From accusing her of stat padding to dismissing her record-breaking feats, Esquire's actions were not only unfair but also part of a larger, troubling pattern within sports journalism. This isn't just a problem with one
Stats. First, we'll pull up best point guard in the WNBA objectively, Caitlin Clark. In her one professional season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark came away with an average of 19.2 points.
Of a broader issue in the way athletes are covered, particularly in women's sports. The constant targeting of Caitlin Clark, her skills undermined by biased reporting, reveals a culture where favoritism can cloud objectivity. While other players with less impressive stats, questionable behavior, or outright subpar performances were given a free pass, Clark was scrutinized at every turn. Whether it was her flopping, her stat padding, or her perceived lack of physicality, the criticisms were unrelenting and often baseless. It was as though Esquire had a narrative to push, and Clark was simply the unfortunate subject of it. But let's be—
I believe it said last year that a compromised Chelsea Gray was 10 times better than Caitlin Clark, which causes Clark fans to get on the—
She wasn't just putting up decent rookie numbers, she was dominating, averaging 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game in her very first season. Those aren't rookie numbers, those are the numbers of a superstar. For comparison, Chelsea Gray, whom Esquire continues to hype up as the best point guard in the league, posted a much lower stat line, 8.6 points, 2.9 rebounds, and 4.9 assists per game. That's a
Also claimed that Caitlin Clark was stat padding and posted this on her social media account. Are we going to be upset tonight that Caitlin tried to chase the franchise assist record when the game was already—
How can Esquire, a so-called journalist, continue to put Gray on a pedestal while diminishing Clark's incredible achievements? It's simple: bias. And let's not forget the misguided attacks on Clark's character. Esquire's comments about Clark allegedly chasing the franchise assist record when the game was already won reveal a complete misunderstanding of the sport. Chasing records is part of the game.
It is about Angel Reese, but there's been sort of this narrative that started about like the way she dresses. Like she's always showing too much of her body. It's her body, and it's an amazing
thing out of the ordinary. Yet, Esquire used this moment as fodder for further criticism, trying to paint Clark as desperate for attention rather than acknowledging her drive to push the boundaries of the game. Caitlin Clark's lawsuit against Natalie Esquire is more than just a legal battle, it's a fight for the integrity of sports journalism and a call for accountability. Clark isn't just defending herself, she's standing up for every athlete who has been unfairly targeted or misrepresented by biased reporters. By filing this lawsuit, Clark is challenging the—
Number one factor in her popularity is her ability and how entertaining she is to watch. You know, that's why fans of all races love her. That's why she's become international.
A call for accountability. Clark isn't just defending herself, she's standing up for every athlete who has been unfairly targeted or misrepresented by biased reporters. By filing this lawsuit, Clark is challenging the narrative that allows journalists like Esquire to manipulate public perception for their own agendas. This isn't just about one reporter's bias, it's about a systemic problem in how women's sports are covered, where some players are scrutinized and questioned relentlessly, while others are given a free pass. Moreover, Esquire's attempt to frame Clark's success as something that was solely driven by her race rather than her talent is not only misleading, it's harmful. Clark's success, popularity, and appeal go far beyond her race. People tune in to watch her because she's an incredible player who brings excitement to every game. She is the reason for the surge in viewership and attendance in the WNBA, and her popularity transcends race. To attribute that success solely to her whiteness is an insult to her hard work and to the diverse fanbase that supports her. This lawsuit is a turning point, not just for Caitlin Clark but for the entire sports journalism industry. It's a call to action for fairness, integrity, and accountability in how athletes are covered. The WNBA is thriving because of players like Clark, who have worked tirelessly to elevate the game and bring in new fans. And as for Natalie Esquire, her biased, agenda-driven reporting has not only damaged her credibility but also harmed the very sport she claims to cover. The bottom line is this: Caitlin Clark is a superstar, one of the brightest stars in the WNBA, and her success is a result of her extraordinary talent, work ethic, and passion for the game. Journalists like Esquire may try to spin false narratives, but the truth is undeniable. Clark has earned every accolade, every record, and every fan that has supported her. And with this lawsuit, Clark is ensuring that the truth comes out and that fairness in sports journalism is restored. Out the bias for what it is. Caitlin Clark's fans have had enough of the unfair treatment, and they're not letting it slide. The support Clark has from her fanbase is unwavering, and it's clear that Esquire's misguided attacks have only fueled the fire. From social media posts to in-person shoutouts at games, her supporters have rallied behind her, sharing their own experiences of being fans of the WNBA and witnessing Clark's unparalleled impact on the game. They've pointed out the numbers, the stats, and the undeniable records Clark has set, all of which contradict Esquire's biased narratives. And let's not forget about the overwhelming public backing from her teammates and coaches. People who know Clark on and off the court, those who have seen her leadership, her kindness, and her commitment to the game, have made it clear that she is a true professional. They've gone to bat for her, speaking out against Esquire's relentless and misleading criticisms. Fans aren't just defending her, they're calling for accountability in the media. They're demanding that journalists take their responsibility seriously and stop using their platforms to push personal agendas. In an era where athletes are under constant scrutiny, it's crucial that the media remains objective and fair. Esquire, however, chose to push a narrative that suited her bias, and now she's facing the consequences of that. It's one thing to have a preference or an opinion, but it's another to let that influence your reporting to the point where you're actively distorting the truth. The reality is that Caitlin Clark has been nothing short of a phenomenon. She's helped elevate the WNBA, bringing attention, sponsorships, and fans to a league that was already growing but has exploded in popularity with her arrival. Clark's fans, with their sharp eye for stats and an even sharper sense of fairness, are holding the media accountable. They're pointing out the double standards and calling out the blatant favoritism that Esquire's been promoting. They've made it clear that it's not just about supporting Clark, it's about supporting the integrity of sports journalism and ensuring that players get the recognition they deserve. In the end, Esquire's bias and distortion of the truth didn't just impact one player. It sent a ripple effect through the entire league, creating unnecessary controversies, undermining Clark's impact, and ultimately questioning the fairness of the WNBA's media coverage. Caitlin Clark's lawsuit isn't just about protecting her reputation, it's about setting a precedent for fairness, truth, and integrity in sports journalism. As for Esquire, well, her attempts to twist reality have only backfired. The numbers, the fans, the players, and even legal action are all standing behind Clark, proving that when you try to manipulate the truth, you can't escape the consequences forever. And with Clark's lawsuit, it looks like the culture of biased reporting may finally be on the verge of a much-needed overhaul. This is a battle for truth, and Clark is showing the world that she's not backing down.
She hasn't just had a major impact on the WNBA. She's had a major impact on the entire city of